Hi, welcome to Take a Break, Take a Breath for Wednesday, June 2nd. I'm Rick Boyer, the pastor of Prospect Presbyterian Church in Maplewood, New Jersey. And Take a Break, Take a Breath is an invitation for you to stop all the busyness of the day for just a few minutes, to pause and to breathe and to center yourself in God who made you and loves you and calls you by name. Each time we come together, I've been reading my way through the Gospel of Mark with you and using those stories to form a basis for our reflection and prayer time, a little bit of teaching, and then using some of the images to guide our meditation. So if you haven't already done so, I invite you to go to a quiet place while I talk a little bit about this text. Our reading for today is from Mark in the 8th chapter, reading verses from verse 27 through chapter 9, verse 1. In this particular part of the Gospel of Mark, some call it the fulcrum, the turning point in the story. Jesus is making his way from his Galilean ministry in the north and journeying toward Jerusalem. And as they go up to the city of Caesarea Philippi, they can look back over all of Galilee and they can look forward to Jerusalem. And it's in that place that Jesus chooses to ask them, who do people say that I am? And then he asks a second question, who do you say that I am? And Peter gets the answer, you are the Christ, the Messiah. And then Jesus tells them what it means to be Messiah, that he must suffer and die and be raised again. And they don't get it, and Peter becomes quite agitated about it and takes Jesus aside, even almost in a position of authority over Jesus, and tells him this can't happen. And Jesus then rebukes Peter, and we learn that they didn't fully understand and couldn't fully understand what it meant for him to be Messiah until the death and resurrection of Jesus. It's only then that they get it. So I chose as a verse for our reflection, Jesus went on with the disciples to the village of Caesarea Philippi. And on the way, he asked his disciples, who do people say that I am? That's verse 27, the opening verse. Settle into a chair in that quiet place where you are. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And as you breathe in the breath of God. As you breathe out all that separates you from God. As you breathe in the good air. And as you breathe out all of the bad air, the impurities. As you breathe in God's peace and God's life. And as you breathe out all of your worries and your fears and your anxieties and all that doesn't lead to life. Keep breathing deep and steady and slow. And as you do so, allow the peace of God to spread over you. Imagine it coming to you like the waters of a shower. It flows down over your head and your face. And as it does so, the peace of God enters your mind and calms all of the things that you've been thinking you need to do, or all the appointments that are coming up. As it flows down over your face, you're able to release your jaw and unfurrow your brow and to smile. As the peace of God flows down over your neck, the tensions in your neck are released. And as the peace of God flows down your shoulders and your arms and your hands are opened up. Your shoulders are relaxed. and your arms are renewed. As it flows down your back, all the burdens of the day that you've been carrying are set down, and the muscles recover, and the aches and pains are eased. As it flows down over your chest, your breathing remains deep and steady, and your heart rate slows and gets calm. As it flows down over your stomach, the jitters that you might have in your stomach are still. As it flows down over your legs, to your feet, to the tips of your toes, your legs are renewed and refreshed from all the running around that you've been doing this day. The peace of God washes over all of you, every part of you. In your mind's eye, go to a high hill or a mountain. And imagine that as you look back in one direction, you can see the places in your life's story, the journey that you've been on, the places where you grew up, the places where you went to school, the places that were important in your childhood and your youth and your young adulthood. You can see the places in the rest of your life as well. And then as you turn in the other direction, you see the possibilities for your future. As you sit in this place looking back over what has been and forward to what could be, you're aware of God's presence. And I invite you in the quiet of the next few moments to have a conversation with God about where you are and where you are going and what your concerns are and what your hopes and dreams are. I'll be quiet while you do so. And then the time comes for the conversation to end. So you end it in whatever way you want. You know you can always come back to this time and this place anytime you want. And you allow that image to fade away. And you bring yourself back to the room where you are. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Let's take a break, take a breath for Wednesday, June 2nd. If you have feedback for me or you want to talk or pray, send an email to rick@prospectchurch.org.